Good morning, traders. I'm Dennis Dick.
And I'm Joel Elconin. Welcome to Pre-Market Info.
We got some bank earnings here this morning, Joel. Let's go right into the banks here. J.P. Morgan reporting earnings here this morning. Stock is trading down $1.59 versus $1.35. So they beat pretty big. Doesn't matter. I think they did this last time, actually. They beat pretty good, and then they sold them off anyways. I mean, we've been on a heck of a run. It's been a 5-day run here for J.P. Morgan, but they're giving back 40 cents here this morning on this earnings report.
Right. Came out, got a little pop initially off it, and then has sold off. We're making a pre-market low under the 48.70 level, 48.65. A couple levels to keep an eye on here for J.P. Morgan. You did have some lows in the 45.60 area. We need to keep an eye on that.
For which handle? 48.60, you mean?
Yeah, excuse me, 48.50.
48.50. Joel's
yeah,
messing
40,
that number up pretty good. That's
yeah,
all right.
It's not going to go down that much. You had the low on April 9th at 48.46. We're currently trading 40 cents away from that. The pre-market low is 48.65.
That pre-market high there, point that one out. It's 49.99. I'll tell you, these whole numbers work. People say, oh, it's simple. That's just stupid. No, it works, man. These big whole numbers. $50. I saw it earlier. There's over 100,000 shares selling it there. People in the pre-market are sitting there. They know that it's going to have to really have a good report to break over that. It doesn't. kisses the 49.90 high, 99 high in the pre-market. Pulls back off. If the stock goes into rally mode again, that is your bogey. Obviously, you have a pre-market high there now backing it up. So I say the 49.90s provide major resistance if this stock starts to turn around.
Also, on the J.P. Morgan, the last 2 days' ranges are very similar here. 49.56 and 60 being the highs, and then double bottom at 48.83 to 88. So those should be good levels to fade today.
And then you got Wells Fargo just reported earnings here as well. Stock is actually trading, where is it now, Joel? It's trading down 70 cents here. Similar story. They beat by 4 cents, 92 versus 88. This is identical story. Look at the high of the move up there at $38, right at a big whole number here again. Very similar chart to J.P. Morgan, so that's your major resistance up there in the 37.90s. I don't know if we're going to see that now in Wells, because Wells never has as much volatility as J.P. Morgan, and it's over $1. It's over $1 off those levels, but that was a big level there, man.
Okay, we're looking at 36.79. We just ticked that at the pre-market low. Really no sign of a bottom yet. Looking at the daily, though, look at this 36.50 area.
Yep.
You had like 5 consecutive lows between 36.55 and 36.75, this whole area. That's backed up by a 36.53 low on March 13th. So this is going to be the area to hold. If you get a shot down there in the morning session, it'll be down about $1 at that time. That's going to be good support. Below 36.50, you could be looking for that whole number at 36. But I'd expect some support to come in at that 36.50 level.
Moving away from the banks, Infosys INFY reported earnings here too. Man, everybody beats, but everybody gets killed here today. 78 cents versus 74. The revenue was light, 1.94 billion versus 1.99 billion. Q4 sales guidance not that great either. So that's why the stock is absolutely getting murdered here. It is down, $9 here right now? 44.95 after closing at 54.34. Wow, what is a killing?
500,000 shares are traded in the pre-market, so definitely you can't sniff on that.
I can't wait till you look at the daily on this one. Just when you go to the daily, this is going to be
okay,
good.
41.78 is where we hit in the pre-market. We're $4 off that low, so you got to imagine that there are going to be people looking to bring this stock in if we we can't hold these pre-market levels. Looking at the daily here.
It's
just
called
holding.
gap up, gap down. It never traded between 45 and 50 on the way up, and it's not going to trade between 45 and 50 on the way down. Have you ever seen that?
I don't think I've ever seen a chart that looks like that. Fill in the gap with another gap. I mean, that
That's
is
just crazy. That is awesome. I don't think I've ever seen that. And so it gapped up, obviously, on some news back in early January there from 40, the 45 area up over 50. Never traded in the regular session, and now it's going to gap down through that area and try to not trade between 45 and 50 again. That area is like the plague for this stock.
I would just, if you're playing this stock either long or short, man, just throw your orders out there at the whole numbers because it's going to rip through here. I mean, it did fill the gap. You had that 44.76 high on January 10th, and now we've obviously filled that in the pre-market.
It didn't even fill it, though. It doesn't even fill it. It just doesn't trade. Yeah, it filled
Well,
into the pre-market.
it's going to fill it. I mean, it's just creating another gap on the
Yeah, I
upside.
know. It's
So,
gap all over the place. That
wanna,
area is like the plague. It doesn't like
if
that
you
area.
want to play this one, go ahead. You know, I'd say between 45 and 50, it's less chance of making money in that stock than
45 and 50 is all error and all
I
guessing
need to
here.
get this chart off my screen. I don't even want to look at
That's
this.
crazy. Cognizant could have a sympathy move CTSH here, and it is in the pre-market 73.70. So CTSH trading down here $4 right now on this. Joel, you bringing up CTSH?
No, I'm looking.
Joel's sleeping over here. That's
I'm
okay. It's
still trying
Friday.
to
I'll
figure
cut
out
you a
what.
break. I'll cut you a break. It is Friday, but yeah, CTSH could have a sympathy move, which it is. Like I was saying, trading down at 73.70 right now, so down $4 on this INFY earnings report.
Yeah, just took a. I mean, that's just 1,000 shares have traded here. Tick 73.70. Someone's obviously playing this the sympathy move here. This stock has had one heck of a run up. You do have a low to look at if you're looking for a point to bring in a short. First of all, you had a 73.22 low on April 8th, and below that you have 72.15. So those are a couple levels to look out for in Cognizant.
Do have some analyst upgrades and downgrades here. First one I want to start with is Home Depot. It's getting upgraded at Jefferies here today. Stock is trading up. It actually is traded as high as 72. How high have you got? The 72.59 I've got as a high. It's trading right now at 72.35. Very light volume, only 4,600 shares, but it does look like it could open up here, and it is going to open up on a day that we're down 6 S&P points.
Yeah, that stock's just continue to grind. Yesterday's high, all-time high, 72.60. We'll use that as a resistance point. I think. What did you say in the pre-market here?
59.
No, the pre. Yeah.
Oh,
The
there's a few
pre-market.
ticks over there, yeah.
Yep, 72.68. So you still got to keep an eye on the 72.60 to 68 level. A couple tops there, the high from yesterday, and then I guess after that 73, huh?
Well, number theory works sometimes. Looking at a couple other ones here, MasterCard and Visa both getting downgraded. Stern AG, MasterCard trading. Actually, MasterCard hasn't even made a trade here yet in the pre-market off this. It is offered down at 538 though, so it is going to open lower. Where the Visa chart, same thing. It's only trading 100 shares, and it's down $1 too. So both these stocks are going to open down here. Just a matter of how weak they get.
Where was I trying to get you to puke your stock? Was it back there at like
512 or
550?
514 or something. I've still got that's my investment, so I've still got it. I've had that stock since I think I bought it at $160. So that's one of my good long-term investments. You get some bad long-term investments too. That's one of the better ones though, and I'm still holding on to it. Obviously, wish I would have bought more along the way, but I didn't. So 541 though is where it's closed at. It's trading or at. It is offered at 538. So looking here, could go down to that 535 area, Joe. Because what's yesterday's low there? 532.57.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I'll tell you these $500 stocks are really hard to
it's so
call. I would
thin.
just if you get back up to the mark there, 541.23, I think that is the all-time or very close to the all-time closing high. Call 540 the resistance area. Coming back on the downside. I mean, you're in a vacuum here down to 532.57.
And just give us some numbers there on the Visa too, because it's going to open down too, and is offered down at 166. They offered down $1 right now, 166.72.
You actually have a little bit level to key off here in Visa 166.22 was yesterday's low. I haven't quite hit that in the pre-market. You can use that as minor support. Below that, you're looking under the 165 level at 164.97. And then the same way with the mark, you come back up to the 167.62, the close up to yesterday's high, 167.90. I don't know how much weight Stern Agee carries in this sector.
Rite Aid, RAD. This is a stock we never talk about on the show, but man, I'm just looking at the chart here from this year. This thing's doubled this year. Basically, well, just from December, it was down at $1 in December. It's now over $2, trading 223 in the pre-market here, closing 212. Had a hell of a run yesterday, continuing again today. Raymond James upgrading the stock, giving it more momentum. These dogs, just like we were saying, last year's dogs still continue to seem to remain this year's stars, and Rite Aid is no exception to that, as that stock is making new highs here on the year again.
Yeah, 224. I was at the guys in the news desk here mentioned that stock was upgraded, and I'm like, what the hell is Raymond James even do covering a $2 stock? And but hey, it's moving right. It was a $1 stock, now it's a $2 stock. 224 is what you hit in the pre-markets. Only trading up 11 cents, 500,000 shares. Has had a nice run. Yesterday's high 215. We're trading above that. Use that as support. Going out to the weekly here, the stock did find resistance in March of 2012 around this level. We are taking that out, and then you start to get into the next major resistance area.
What's
It's
that
going
high?
to maybe take a couple days to get there. 235 is a high in
I don't know.
September
This
of
thing's only 11
2000.
cents away. That 235 could see that today. I'm going to use that for my bogey on it if I'm trading that thing today. Although I don't usually trade $2 stocks, but maybe I'll make an exception. I like that little 235 number
Well,
that you're putting up there.
I got a good risk reward here. If you buy this off the open at 223, the most you can lose is
Well,
$2.23.
that's true actually. So it's like a call option, I guess. Netflix here. Reed Hastings posting on Facebook that there was over 4 billion listeners hours in the last couple of
Yeah.
months. Netflix is getting a pop on this. They're posting on Facebook and stuff, relevant
Is
information
that
here.
legal? Is that
Yeah,
legal
well,
to
I
do
think
that?
it's public. It's still it's still a media source. So yeah, it's just a different type of media source. So yeah, I don't see why it's not legal. I mean, it's public information when you post it up on that. So, and obviously everybody's trading on it here this morning. Stock is up $3.50 at 176.50. So big pop here for Netflix, despite the weakness in the market.
Yeah, 178.90. They got a little overzealous here when the news came out. So that's the high. We're a couple bucks away from there. Since hitting that 178.90 though high, we have found support at 175.70 here. Made a couple lows in that area. So if you're going with the Facebook Reed Hastings posting, playing this off the long, I think below 175.70, I'd be a little bit cautious on the long side. Looking at the daily here, you had a high at 178.33 going back to April 3rd. So you do have some resistance at that level to back up the pre-market high or after hours at
And
178.70.
if you like your whole 50% retracement number, you always talk about that. The high on the move, I think, was 197.62. And if you take that
Correct.
low from 4 days ago, around 159, it's probably around that buck 80 level where that
Yeah.
50% retracement level is. And you had a lot of lows there before, so those could turn to highs. So I'm looking at the whole 180 level as, maybe the old theory of old support becomes the new resistance level, and that might hold true here. So I'm looking at that 180 as a potential area. Obviously, starts to get through there, then all bets are off. But 180 could give you a little bit of resistance here off the hop. Let's talk about BlackBerry. What a breakdown the day yesterday for BlackBerry. Negative response to the Z10 there.
Got it right. I got it right. I didn't put Best Buy or Bed Bath and
Oh
Beyond
yeah,
on.
you get all confused with those tickers. So, BlackBerry 1379. It is trading up here this morning, so it's getting a bounce back after a pretty steep sell-off there yesterday.
Right. Yesterday's low, let's pull it, grab that there, 1328, trading 50 cents above that. Let's see what they've done in the pre-market with this animal. 1380. Someone's making a stand here at 1380. That's been high for majority of since the stock opened at 4 a.m. this morning. So keep an eye on 1380. Looking at the dailies on BlackBerry here, you got a gap to fill up to 1447. Yesterday's high 1420. So look for some sell if the rally continues in that area. Also, around that 1447, you had some other lows at 1450 and 1460. So I think that would be major resistance. Below the 1328 level, look at all that support at 13. Three lows in a row:
Yeah.
1298, 1302, and 1380.
Yeah, all kinds of support between 12 and 13 just over the course of the last couple of months. I don't think we'll see that area today, but definitely if it gets down there, I think you do find more buyers again. Looking at a couple other ones. What about Hewlett Packard yesterday? Obviously, we talked about the news there with PC sales being down 14% in the quarter. We obviously gave our feelings yesterday. I mean, it had a horrible day, and it's down here a little bit again today with the overall market down 16 cents. But that's a major down move here for Hewlett Packard. Do you think this thing could see $20? Do you think there's going to be like a follow through here, or is it going to try to bounce back?
I think as long as you hold this 2061, that was a low from yesterday. You had a 2050 low on March 6th. I think, as long as you can hold that level, you might get a little chance to go back up and test that $22 level.
I'll take the other
Below
side
that
of that
20,
one.
yeah, you take the other side. Well, where are we at? 2088. You want a 2033 versus what? 2128,
Is that
38.
right? Is that right?
38.
Yeah, you're screwing me up with so 20. Go like the 50 cents. 20, 38, and 21, 28. Would that be right, or 21.38? Yeah, 21.38 versus 20.38.
Yep.
I'll take 20.38 over the 21.38. You want that?
Okay, I'll
I'm
take
going
it.
with the momentum. You always try to contrary. You've been a contrarian here on all these moves lately. It's getting you, man. Momentum market. We're in the momentum market. I think it continues down. I think this continues to show weakness here today. I think there are a lot of people sitting on gains in this thing from the recent run, and I think that they're still going to be wanting to book some of these profits. I know you just brought the Microsoft chart there. That's a similar story here because Microsoft got in the 28 area where we talked about it. It held okay yesterday. It's down here again this morning, 28.71. But you're getting into an area where Microsoft does thicken up.
Yeah, it did. It traded. I traded for over 4 hours between 28.73 and 83, and then I think near the end of the day, you had a little bit of short covering, push it up to close at 28.93. But it's right back in this morning. Still got to respect that 28.73 low from yesterday. You go back until Tuesday, you had a 28.68 low. So you are opening support there. Below that, you still got the 28.50 level. So I wouldn't throw Microsoft out here until we close below this 28.50 level.
Overall market here, Joel, we do have a sell-off here, just breaking the U.S. Producer Price Index down 0.6% in March. CNBC saying that's the largest drop since May of 2012. We have rolled over farther now. Bring up the pre-market chart so we can see the action a little bit closer in more detail there. Just as this number just broke, we just sold off another 3 points here. So we were down 5, now we're down 8. This market's rolling over here right now.
Right. We just hit 1579. We didn't start the show out with the overall market talk. I just wanted our traders to be alerted. You had yesterday's low at 1580.75. I think we'll trade back up to that level, so you can use that as resistance. But coming back on the downside, I mean, they have this 1580 to 1560 level. Just looks like a ski slope. So you can't really find any identifiable support. I mean, you go down to 1561, that would be the next level. But I think a better target, 1589.75. Our ranges have been between 13 and 14 points. So it takes it down to the 1575, 1576 level. Could find minor support there. But market seems to be in a little bit of trouble yesterday. I mean, when you have these straight up moves like this, you know what happens when they come back down.
Yeah, they can come down quickly, but it seems like this is that market where everybody buys every pullback here. I don't really see why this is going to be a different story here. It seems like every time we pull back 10 or 15 S&P points, buyers coming, and then by the end of the day we're almost flat or up. I don't know if it's going to do that today here, and obviously we're coming in this whole gap area, which is somewhat concerning. Well, not gap area, but we're coming into this area where we move through quickly, so it's somewhat concerning to be a bottom picker in the 1570s,
Yeah.
but everybody seems to just pick bottom, picking bottoms of this market and
Well,
turning it around. So
I just want to point out one other thing. I mean, it was only a week ago that you had the negative move off the unemployment report, and we were down
shrugged
quite a
that
bit in the
off.
pre-market. But that 1533 and a quarter level, that was supported by other support levels. In the 1535 area. You also had one at
Yep.
1531.75. So you had reference points if you were trying if you were trying to pick a bottom here. But now, where are your reference points here between 1560 and 1580? You really don't have an out if you're trying to pick bottoms here
Yep.
in the S&Ps this morning.
Yeah, and you always want to have an out, so that's a good point here, Joel. It's hard to pick bottoms here in the 1570s. That's our show for today, folks. Have a great trading day. Have a great weekend. And we will be back with you guys on Monday.